ability again to people who have equal fair access to affordable resources, if not free resources, but destabilizes access to, again, a shift in the lack of resources available, especially when you're coming from outside of a desired zone. Another component that a lot of people are now seeing, when you redevelop, gentrify, modify certain areas, most of the time these lead to one-way entry for modified communities. Again, we're talking about limiting access to. You have your designated green spaces, which will include trails, parks with amenities. You often don't see this in areas outside of gentrified or remodified zones. Not having access to these resources, again, highlights a problem when you relocate people by way of socioeconomic engineering and disparaging civil engineering. But if one wants to use SPSS for one's personal use and benefits, first you have to understand, again, SPSS is not available to the general public. But what you can do is petition for it, and you can start with a local college or university. Most schools that offer degrees in social and behavioral sciences, which can be psychology, sociology, social work, etc., will have the software program. Now, it is often licensed to the department head or the department as a whole, and you may only have access to it during school hours. But I strongly encourage you to make use of it by way of forming business partnerships with other individuals or entities. You can provide a lot of support for a proposed relationship, especially if you want to collaborate or have to collaborate for funding, whether that funding is public or private. You can always use it to formulate a formal research proposal to test a hypothesis. You can indicate significance for target populations. Again, it's great for seeking funds for a formal proposal, but if you're going to propose formal research, it should always end with favorable plausibility. Now, if you want to conduct research that highlights an adverse relationship between variables and applicability, such as I've been describing in the real world, what you want to do is focus on doing correlational research either between, within, or across groups. And you can also use such a formal proposal to have funding removed. Again, whether it's federal, private, etc. So I also like to conduct correlational research. A lot of people suggest, okay, well, focusing on negative is not good. But if you can lend support to the fact that a negative relationship exists between variables within a target population, and it is done so on purpose, this is a great way to prove that. Okay, so again, back to SPSS being math. Here you see some formal hand calculations using some of the common formulas. So a lot of people are intimidated by math. They look at it as if it's difficult, it's hard. But math is just what it is. It is a language. All language has a key. And the key to math is order of operations. When you're doing hand calculations or you're using an actual calculator, I don't care if it's a basic calculator or a graphing calculator, you still have to follow the order of operations. Now, graphing calculator is best when computing formulas for SPSS because you can use punctuation. Okay, again, back to correlational research methodology. This type of experimentation will always yield a coefficient, and that coefficient is going to indicate a perfect positive, an inverted, or negative or adverse relationship. I used a generic data set just to perform the math so that you can see it. Here you see some numbers. Of course, if you don't have any experience with SPSS, it's not going to make sense to you. So this is actually the end result here. Again, there's the generic Pearson coefficient there. But okay, so to bring you up, so on the right here, you see the word sum, mean, mode, median, and then that symbol there, kind of like a zero with a dash, that stands for standard deviation. And below you have slope, or M. So in SPSS, each term that you want to quantify has a corresponding Greek alphabet or letter. So these are the values associated with the calculations performed. In each calculation, sum, mean, mode, median does have a numerical value. And over to the left, with this generic data set I produced, you can see at the top, you see parametric test. All right. And again, this is a calculation for the Pearson coefficient or correlation, which is denoted by R. And that N there corresponds to the number of respondents or participants in the data set. And for mine, it was 10. So that's why you all are seeing multiples of 10. So your sum is the total number, the numerical value of the responses by the number of people in your data set, and the mean is the average thereof. So I had 10 people, so my sum was 108 divided by 10 and yielded 10.8. Mode is the most frequently occurring number in the data set, and median is the mid number of the intersecting number. And to continue on, I also performed a regression analysis and slope of a line. And again, M indicates the slope of a line. What is regression analysis? Okay, this is the change in Y over the change in X. This is just basic division, people. And over there to the right, you see the symbol for standard deviation. You see a lot of square root in SPSS, and again, it'll make sense if you've had a formal course. But I want you all to know that everything that we do, everything that we see, especially online today, from social media and entertainment, it begins with this program. This is at the core of our society, how things are produced, how things are planned, how actions are carried out. And here is the formula for standard deviation. You will see SD, or that symbol there, and this is a breakdown again where N is number, size of the population. That U looking symbol there, average or mean. The X with the bar over the top is the sample mean. And then that Greek E is there's your sum. So thank you all for watching. I rarely do this, but let me know your thoughts. If you all need tutoring, I can direct you to a great manual. So again, when you're thinking about what you see in hidden figures, understand that this is the math you were seeing. And I believe the character that Octavia Spencer was portraying, you see her go to the library and grab a book for her sons, and she's telling them in that scene that this here's the future. Everything is going to begin here. This is going to be the core of every language, and it is. Thank you all for your time.